Hi Gemini, this is Kay. You're on the Collective Soul Tarot channel. Welcome to your reading. Let's begin with the Zodiac 108 deck, and please like and subscribe. I hope you're doing well. I'm so happy to be here with you right now, and thank you for coming and watching the video. So let's find out what your past, present, and near future energies are. Now the past energy could be near or far, but the future is near future. Okay, this one wants to be seen. Okay, what do we have for past energy? Bodybuilder. Okay. Power, strength, forceful, determined, discipline, vigor, domination, push forward, influence, leverage, mastery, resolve, intense, resistance, self-improvement, exercise. Well, that could go a few different ways, right? So you might have found a resolution to some kind of problem in the near or far past. You found a resolution. You've been pushing forward on a project or towards some kind of desired goal. You have been, actually literally body training, bodybuilding, and building muscles and strength, or it could be something to do with just your internal strength and courage that you have been mustering up, that you've been making some self-improvements, exercising too. Okay, so that could go a few different ways for you, Gemini. The present day is scuba diving. That's another physical activity. Going within, observation, 0 point, self-examination, exploring the unconscious mind, in the void, desire to know, self-reflection, disconnecting, deep thoughts, and subliminal. So it's more of the mind, the mental emotional side of the person, as opposed to actually going physically down into the depths of an ocean, for example. Okay, so your near future is friends. Wow, friendship, group, soul tribe, third person, contact, relate, network, show up, hang out, meet in person, social media, interpersonal relationships, togetherness, and friendliness. That's a very lovely card, lovely energy for your near future, that you're possibly joining some sort of group or meeting like-minded people, and you're becoming friends with them. Yeah. And who knows, it may have been through bodybuilding, to actually, let's say, if you want to be a scuba diver, for example, and you have to go through scuba diving training. Yes, you have to go through that kind of training, and I don't know how long it takes, a week, 10 days, or over several weeks, depending on what the schedule is like. But you are going to have to learn how to be able to go down slowly so that you don't experience the bends, they call it, right? And learn how to read your scuba diving equipment, gauges and stuff, and what to do if you run out of oxygen, or the line breaks, or whatever the complication might be. You have to be able to provide yourself some first aid, basically, or call for help if you've got other divers around you. So there's education for that, training for that, and that could be that bodybuilding could be that you're strengthening the way that you breathe, especially when you're under pressure in the ocean. That sort of thing. You might be preparing for that sort of thing, and you join a scuba diving group, or you meet other people who are interested in scuba diving or have already trained in it, and you and them want to go out on scuba diving exploration kind of thing. It could be that, as simple as that, Gemini, but that'd be for one or two of you, right? For others, it's more an internal thing. You are actually disciplining yourself with becoming a master over your thoughts, your mind, your emotions, that kind of thing. And then, like right now, currently, you have entered into a kind of possibly taking some kind of training or meditation at home, self-discovery, right? Desire to know more about who you really are and what the universe is about and the purpose of everything, the meaning of everything. And then again, you're going to meet people in the near future. As a result of what you're changing in yourself, you become a different magnet than what you were before you decided to start this journey, and therefore you're starting to meet people who actually match that energy, that same kind of energy that you've changed into. So you may be leaving old friends behind, ones that they're not really thinking and behaving in the way that demonstrates that they are trying to learn to love themselves and finding compassion within themselves so that they can speak and behave in ways that are compassionate and compelling ways of being attractive, to being the type of person who people want to get to know. And it's not like you don't want to get to know your friends, it's just that you know that they are still very much, as you're learning, you're realizing that the ego is very strong in us, and the ego is about fears. The reason why we have an ego is because we're afraid. We're afraid of something, and we use the ego as a mask, as a way to help cope with your life, especially out there among people and among activities. At home it's a little easier because you don't have to really be someone else other than yourself if you don't have other people in your home. So anyways, you're learning how to master your ego by taming it, and that you see that others still need to go that path if they're so called to do so, right, in this lifetime that you're in with them. So they're not resonating, vibrating at the same level as you are now. So your interests are changing. Your interests not only in what you want to personally pursue, but also in what you want to, the type of people you want to spend your time with, kind of activities you want to do. So you're changing as a result, and this is causing you to kind of, with your past group of friends, there's sort of a divide happening between you, that their interests are not your interests anymore. They might have been at one time, and of course your interests are not their interests. You recognize that, and so it's kind of like you have to start reaching out for getting involved with situations where people are more like-minded. Wealthy man. Okay, wealthy man. All right, and we've got the Two of Cups, I say, but it's the Swans or the Heart card. It's the Heart card. Two of Cups. And then we have the Path, where that path is going to be illuminated for you to find that new person, to find that new, to find the new people who are like vibrating at your same way that you feel and think, like at least similar, right? So yeah, wealthy man is someone who is feeling pretty darn good and pretty, let's see, refined, and let's say somebody who is refined and more like it's kind of like the King of Pentacles. You are a man of the world or a woman of the world. You have you've gotten to know the world that you live in quite well at the level of 3D, as opposed to really finding that nice combination or that nice complement of 3D and 5D and higher. So the physical realm and the spiritual realm, the heart and the mind. The mind is the 3D. The heart is where our inspiration comes from, spirit, right? So you have gotten yourself in a place, Gemini. Now, this generally means we're talking to a Gemini man, okay? But this may not be you, Gemini. This could be the person that you had met in the near or far past, who's in that kind of energy. You know, that more the type of energy where it's all about the 3D, more so. It's all about the practical, the logical. That what can you achieve? What can you do to be victorious and successful in achieving things, right? That's somebody who is strengthening their muscles in the 3D realm of finances, business, work, career. And just, if it's not like to that level, it's just somebody who is very, very black and white, practical. The type of person who is committed. Whenever they commit to something, they commit to it full-heartedly because they become very successful in it. And that could simply mean, Gemini, it's somebody who is so adamant that there's no such thing as God, for example. There's no God. I'm an atheist. There's no such thing as God. And, you know, you can't talk to me. You know, I'm not going to listen to you talk to me about how if you change the way you think, change the way you feel, you're going to become more abundant, prosperous, because the universe will provide for you in that respect, as opposed to the other way. If you're not, don't have your emotions and your thoughts under control, you are essentially, you know, if you were to tell them it's really everything about the way you're thinking and feeling that you attract, that you create your life, and they would say, oh, you know, bullpucky kind of thing. No. It's what you do, right? It's what you do that determines how successful you're going to be, how wealthy and abundant you're going to be. And the wealth is all about having something, right? Money, houses, cars, you know, belongings, personal belongings, assets, right? So you met somebody in the however long ago, whether it's near past or far past, and you might have even met them at the gym, because this kind of person would be very, very focused on the way they look and feel physically. Okay, they might be quite the force. They might be a leader. They just might be somebody who comes across as quite confident, but cocky in a way. You know, cocky confidence, that's that ego. If by chance they don't have everything that they ever desired, like a wealthy man would have, they're going to be hiding their lack of not having what it is that they covet, right? By coming across as so they don't care. Oh, it's no big deal. I've got all this, or I can get that tomorrow. You know, I just have to snap my finger and I got it. And, you know, they have that kind of arrogant confidence to them. And if not, it's just a person who feels like they've got enough, and that they're happy enough so that they don't need to try and change their life, so that they are completely 100% satisfied. This is my point here, is that this person here, they're coming across as somebody that is very appealing to you. In some way it was very appealing to you. They were appealing to you. Like, look at this guy. And, or if this is you, Gemini, you're very appealing. You've done a lot for your ego, for your physical self. That includes your body. And your life, like your physical life, everything around you that you have accumulated and achieved, successfully or otherwise. You're doing, in your mind, you're doing okay if you're this gentleman here. In your friend's mind, or this person that you were attracted to, they're good where they're at. They don't need anything else. They don't need to look deeper. They don't need to try to figure out what the meaning of their life is about. They could care less. So it's all about the 3D, this person is. All about the 3D, the physical realm, what you can touch, taste, you know, what you can put your hands on. It's nothing about the spiritual aspect of life, this person. So you have decided in the past to move past, push past this person. Push past this person. You might have fallen in love with them. Right here, you might have a great deal of admiration for all that they've achieved or whatever, just that you like this person. You might have, you know, you like this person, you've fallen in love with this person, you might be actually romantic involved with them. But you would like to get deeper into a relationship with them. How do you say that? To just go deeper with them instead of just scratching the surface of everything, talking about current events, let's say the news, what's happening in the news, and how politicians are doing this and complaining about that. They're just like, it's all surface stuff. They might talk about how they're at work and they're doing this, that, and the other thing to try to get their boss's attention, or they're like really focused on climbing the corporate ladder. That it's just something that they're so focused on, has to do with the not the ethereal world, but the very physical world, realm. This level. So it's not something that you're finding satisfying to you. It was leaving a bunch of holes. For one thing, you thought if you became attracted to somebody and you fell in love with them, that would fill a void, right? That you feel that this at that time. You might have felt, Gemini, that you needed to have somebody in your life to love, and they would love you, and they want to be with you, you want to be with them. That would fill the void that wasn't there before they showed up. And then it turns out that when you're with this person, it solves some of, your wants and desires, but the void to some extent is still there, and you're trying to discover why. Why is that void still there? Why do I feel like I've got everything I need? I got a person that I love, a person I would like to be with, yet even though, we don't always see eye to eye on things, but we love each other still enough to stay together and work through our differences. That's what relationships are supposed to be about, that kind of stuff, right? But the thing is that you're feeling you're not quite totally satisfied, so you are trying to figure out why, or being more reflective about this and wondering, why aren't you feeling happy, fulfilled, satisfied, content, at peace, just good, good with what you have, and always ready to have more, like to seek more, but it's not going to be like I have to have that to fill the void. It's just going to be like the icing on the cake. The cake is good as itself. I don't need icing. I'll always be achieving or pursuing other things, but it has nothing to do with trying to fill the void. It has everything to do with just enjoying life, because I feel already satiated. I'm good. I've got God in my life. I am living on purpose. I have the strength and the motivation to really try and heal anything that has become an issue for me in my emotional makeup, in my mental makeup, past life, not past life, but childhood life. You might even think about past life trauma, stuff like that. But in any case, you got to wonder why. And as you're doing that, you see that there's a big divide. When you go down deep like that, there's a gulf. A big divide is starting to show itself between the way you're thinking and feeling and your wealthy man is thinking and feeling. And you take this, if you're the wealthy man, you take it the other way, okay? That your person that you're in love with is seeking, and you're not. You haven't been. But you might very well begin to. okay, what we have here, we've got the Hanged Man. That's sacrificing, that's looking at things differently. That's gaining a new perspective. Seeing things more so how they really are, because what I have learned is that we are living life upside down, where we're putting the world first, our own physical needs first, and then bringing spirit into it. If we feel like this person here, as long as they have everything they need, a wealthy person, if they don't have any real problems, emotional problems, they can just snap their fingers, have anything they need, do they really have a need to involve spirit, involve God in their life? It's only through trials and tribulations and problems and challenges and obstacles that, for the most part, unless you're born into a religious family, and even then, that's not a guarantee, but it's through our trials and tribulations and problems and crises and stuff like that, emergencies, that we start going, God, please, if your daughter gets sick or something happens and you just don't know if it's going to turn out well, we start praying. We start praying. We start saying, God, I've never really stopped in long enough to have a chat with you before, but I sure could use you now. I really need you in my life right now. That kind of thing, right? So Hanged Man is seeing things from the right side up, which is upside down in this case, but it's really right side up, if you can follow that. We are living upside down. This standing on top of the planet, making the planet not the planet, but our 3D life number one priority, and then only bringing 3D into, not 3D, the spiritual world, the spiritual aspect of who we really are into our lives, by opening the door, because it's knocking on the door like Jesus would stand at the door and knock on the door, hoping you open the door and invite him in, right? That's us standing in our world, our physical world, and not really looking for, spiritual interaction unless there's an absolute crisis or emergency or whatever. So that's living upside down, and standing on the world, living like that, with our head up, our feet down, stuck to the planet, right, through gravity, that's actually upside down. It's when we turn ourselves around and start thinking more. You think about look at this scuba diver. Where's their head? It's right there, right? Their feet are here, where the flippers are. So they are going into the depths of who we really are. And we do that by turning things on its head, upside down, where we're making spirit, which is 50% of who we really are, which is really we're 100%, but we think we're 50%. When we start looking at it from that perspective, we bring spirit as making it number one, and then the physical world comes in as a result of making spirit number one, and it comes in ways that brings peace into your heart and to your mind, and you just feel enveloped in the light of who you really are, the one we're transcending to, which is love, right? So we got two cards. So by standing on your head, you start seeing the world differently. You start seeing how we've got it upside down. And we've got what does that say? They're so small. And the Seven of Cups, well, 2 Cups cards. So the Seven of Cups is all about having options. The Nine of Cups is all about feeling satiated. Seven of Cups is about having too many distractions. All right, too many illusions. There's so many illusions that you have to sort of sort through them to try to figure out which one's the best choice with the Seven of Cups. So it can be confusing. So we go from feeling confused, living, like I said, upside down, standing on our feet. We're standing on our feet, that's actually upside down. When we turn to stand on our head to look at the world from a different perspective, we actually begin to feel hopeful we begin to feel good in our own skin. We begin to feel that we can indulge in so many blessed ways in our life once we have brought spirit. I'll put this on this side because that's where you were, Gemini. Unless you're this Gemini, this man, you're going to be moving that direction. And now you're sitting in a place of peace. Like she's sitting in a place of peace. She looks peaceful. She's by the ocean. She has her cups lined up back there. That's everything that she's achieved, and that's a whole lot of love, right? The cups are a whole lot of love. Self-love, love for spirit, love for other people, the world. Okay, that's a whole lot of love. The 10 of Cups is after that, and that's just like, that's in excess. Like that's, you blow you out of the water with love kind of thing. So that's very interesting. You've got a new perspective. You took a deep dive, like the scuba diver is, head first, feet up, and you're hanging out, trying to sort things out with how things really are, so that you can make some sense out of why there seems to be some kind of still remaining dissatisfaction even after having so much in your life, achieving and what you thought to be a great partner and this and that you're realizing that their ideas, maybe you're getting older, and their ideas of what life is really and who we are in relation to that, and what its purpose and meaning is might be starting to be something that you just don't hold much water in anymore. Literally, you just don't put much faith in that any longer, and because you see that it's still not making you feel gracious, fulfilled, peaceful, and feeling hopeful and joyful moving forward in your future. Which is this person believes they feel the way you're trying to become, to fill that void. They believe they feel that way, but they don't really. If they had to sit in quiet, and you could be a fly on the wall, and they were having a discussion with somebody, let's say a counselor, and if they ever would go to a counselor, not likely, but if they did, they would say, I have so much, I have everything, why do I still feel like this? So you're the fly on the wall, and you're realizing that how their mask, like the mask they're wearing, how they present themselves to everyone else is a whole lot different than what they really feel deep down inside. We have the Seven of Wands. This is being defensive, but it's also standing your ground. So you have been kind of like, you're in your bubble of peace because you're saying to yourself at this point in time, because you're building up your defenses, you're building up your way of saying, there's got to be more than life than this. There's got to be more than life than this. And these other people, it could be this person as well, that's poking a stick at you and say, oh, come on, there's nothing more. That's it. This is it. Just live with it. No, there's no God. You're fooling yourself. It's ridiculous. It's this, that, and the other thing. People are poking at you. They may be poking at you just to try and burst your bubble. Really? Where you might be saying, no, there's got to be more to life than this. I have faith. There's more to life than just what we have built in our little physical world, our own little worlds, right? And these people are saying, oh, no, get off your high horse. You're not any better than us, and just face the facts. This is it. This is our life. There's no other life. This is it. This is your only life you live. There's no past life. There's no future lives. There's no reincarnation. There's nothing like that. This is your one chance to live your life, and just live with that. Get over it, kind of thing. They're poking at you. But you're choosing to stay in your bubble of no. They're bringing you to places of self-doubt, right? You're going through all of that mentally, emotionally. You're going through all of that, but by the end of the day, you're back in that there's got to be more to life than this. I have faith, God, that there's truly a God, and that you are this, that, and the other thing, and doing this, that, and the other thing for me, for me and for, of course, everybody, right? That's where you're at in the near far past. Is it the Ten of Pentacles? This is like that, you had it all. You had commitment. I mean, you still do with this person, right? You may still do with this person, or you might have left them behind. But they are a Ten of Pentacles. They have so much that you're just feeling, at that time, you're feeling like you just have so much, like overabundance, like overflowing. You have everything a girl or a guy could ever want. Like, why isn't that enough, right? Why isn't that enough? Why doesn't it feel like it's enough? And that goes right in line with your wealthy man, because that's where they're at. They're all about, now I wouldn't say the pinnacle, but they could be, but they're all about achievement. It's a physical, tangible stuff of the world that they're most focused on. That's all they're focused on, really. There's not so much about, this kind of eternal love. There's love, yes, but not eternal love. And then you got the Queen of Swords here. This is you. You're like really doing some reflection, trying to figure out what the truth really is. You've got some flags here. So the flags are like those doubts of what other people are going to bring to your table, and whether or not you're going to accept it. Like this person here or some friends here. Are you going to be okay with accepting their truths? Or are you going to go with your truth, your own truth? How am I going to handle this? I just need to be somebody who is seeking my truth, and I'm still going to be flexible, because I don't want to push people completely away from me who aren't necessarily on the same wavelength, the same page with me. So I have to be careful about this, because I don't want to push my person away. You're hoping that this person is going to do a deep dive with you, that they're going to choose to do that. See? The Knight of Cups. They adore you. They are like, they want to give you the world. They're going to ride in, they're going to sweep you off your feet. Okay? With the Knight of Cups. It's all about friendly, loving, adoring friendship, relationship, love, right? Now, this may not be this person now. We have to take that into consideration. You might actually be on the path that you've met this person, and now you're getting to know someone else who is, riding in to sweep you off your feet. Okay? So, let's see what we've got here. We've got the Ten of Wands. So now, you've had all this burden before of thinking there's got to be more to life than this, and how people are seeing you, and how they might be treating you or trying to avoid you now because they see that you have changed your mind about something, and maybe you're behaving differently towards them, and it's become quite a heavy burden to you, because all you want to do is to move on and be saturated in spirit as well as the 3D world. You want to be saturated in that. You want to fill the void of feeling like you're not completely whole, even though you've had a wonderful person in your life, but they are just not on the same wavelength as you. And so you might be meeting somebody here who is going to be on the same wavelength as you. It's going to allow you to put down all those burdens of the past. Or this person is going to choose to take the deep dive with you, and this is them. Okay? So, and of course, if you're the Gemini man here, the wealthy man, you're going to choose to take the deep dive with this person that you love, who has been on a different, wavelength than you, because you're all about the material world. You have been anyways. And you're turning into somebody who says, I got to sweep this person off my feet, so what do I need to do? What do I need to do in order to make sure that I can make this person happy? Make them believe that I am, like, to me, they're so worth it to me that I'll dive anywhere as you want me to go, you know? Just give me an ocean to dive in and I'm there, you know, that kind of thinking, right? Okay, so the 10 is the end. So 9 of Wands, that's where you're still ready to, you know, go out with for a good fight kind of thing. But 10 is where you're putting your fights down, you're putting your burdens down, and you're saying, I'm freeing myself from this heavy concerns and pressure that I've been feeling, that there is this is life, and that means if this is just life and there's really no God, then that must mean that everything that happens to us, to me, is truly a responsibility that I'm going to have to carry for the rest of my life and live with it. And, you know, because if you bring God into your life, you give those burdens over to God to heal, right? And eventually they become healed. They start becoming less of a focus and less of a burden on you as time goes by, because you continue to trust and have faith that whatever is bothering you will be healed, because you have that faith in the spiritual deity that you worship or want to worship. And then for the path, we have the 8 of Wands. Wow, that is like really fast movement forward, right? And in communication, you may be meeting a group of friends who are going to help you, to help you so that you're not going at it alone. That allows you to put your burdens down to some degree, right? Letting your burdens go, because you're walking a new path that is including spirit in your life, God in your life, whatever you call it for yourself. And you may be feeling called, like maybe your friends, you know how the worshipers, apostles, right? The apostles. Like, I'm not big into this stuff, okay? But I know a little bit. But there could be, you might be feeling led, guided to want to talk about it, you know, to youth groups or be in some sort of ministry, or going across the globe to do that kind of missionary work. Or, or not. You don't have to be feeling guided to talk about it. You might just want to talk about it with your new friends. Yep. These new friends here, they want to talk about it, so you're going to be talking about it. So there's going to be a whole lot of talk about how all these sorts of things that you have come to learn, the wisdom that you feel you've been granted as a result, and the blessings that have come to it, and this is all this mystical, but very, very real experiences that you're having since you decided to purposely bring your spirit into your life, including it, getting to know it like it's your best friend, because it is really, it's you. So you're talking to your friends, your new friends, about this. So it's very, very wonderful. You're going to have a lot of conversations about this with your new friends. Let's see what's on the back of the deck. Wow. And this is a relocation. This can be a relocation. And then the Magician, you've got all the resources you need. Here's the Hermit card with you, doing deep reflection. This time you're sitting upright, you're not hanging upside down. You're connecting, because you already gained a new perspective from this time here with the Hangman. You've gained a new perspective, and so now you're just checking in with your highest self, your God, whatever, your soul, the God within you. You're checking in during, regularly, routinely, you're checking in, spending time, like meditation, for example. But this Ace of Pentacles, aces are always a gift from the universe, or God is bringing you an opportunity to have a brand new beginning. And this brand new beginning is a very, very tangible brand new beginning. The Ace of Pentacles, it's tangible. It might be a lot of money to help source here's your Magician card with having all the resources that you need. Pentacles, Cups, love, right? Wands, which is desire, motivation, inspiration. Swords is the truth, right? The truth to feel compelled to speak your truth, to to seek your truth always, that kind of thing, right? Share your truth, that kind of thing. So you have all the resources you need, to which the Ace of Pentacles, the universe, God, is dropping into your lap, because you decided that you were going to seek the truth. You were seeking the truth no matter what, because there's been a void in your life that you thought you had in just living the life of the 3D, not really including your spirit. You know, I was even that way too. I mean, even though from a young age, 9 years old, I was asking some really heavy questions that no other kid was asking that I knew of. Really a deep question, like, well, how do I know that I'm me? Like, what is it that, why am I looking in the mirror? I see this body, right? I see this body, that face. Why is it that I'm not looking in the mirror and see like my sister's face or my friend's face or that person's face? Like, why do I have these people as my parents? You know, like, how come I don't have other people's parents? Like, I just couldn't figure that out, right? And so I was asking those kind of questions at a young age. And then I met Jesus when I was like 9 years old in what is it, Girl Guides I was in. Yeah, and I loved Jesus. I just thought, it was the first time I met him, you know, through the Bible, of course, Bible study at the time. I just loved Jesus, because I seen how beautiful and loving he was, no matter who he met. He loved them. And I wanted to be like that, and I certainly wanted someone to be like that with me, right? So I really would like to have had Jesus in my life, like physically too. But in any case, there was a time, you know, during teenage years and then young adulthood, that it's like that was not a focus anymore. It was like I had Jesus in my back pocket, but I barely even knew he was there. So it wasn't until I started having relationship issues and started wondering, why? Why can I not have a beautiful, endearing, and committed relationship like all my friends do? What's so bad about me? What's so different about me? What was wrong with me, right? I felt empty. And that just started me on that path. Yeah, and I imagine that's where you're going to, or have gone. So, this is a lovely story, Gemini. I wish you all the best, and it's going to be a wonderful journey for you. And just keep on going. Bye for now.